What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get into Iraq news because, again, there's still talk about the rate going on out there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it to your attention. Okay, as usual. So I love the fact that the rate talk has been going on, period. Good, bad, and ugly. The fact that they're talking about it seems to give us the impression, or at least me, that they know something needs to be done. What that is for sure, I'm not sure myself, but we're going to find out. Quick reminder, if you're thinking about buying precious metals, please give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange a consideration. The link is in the description. If you are a first-time buyer you buy $100 worth of precious metals, please use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and get a free half ounce of silver. We have Pimpy's investment chat over here, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we do talk about investments like gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. No politics. Keep the politics over here. The hidden things are in front of your eyes. Over here, we talk about QAnon, NESARA, GESARA, politics, current events, falsifying events, 9/11, the whole 9 yards. Just be respectful of one another. For those of you who don't have Facebook, come join me over here at Twitter. Actually, even if you have Facebook, you should come join me on Twitter because they're removing groups off of Facebook. So just in case one or both of the groups that we've created on Facebook get hit, you can come join me over here on Twitter, and I will post the same information here just so you guys can have access to it. So again, just to be on the safe side, you guys, you might want to come and join me over here on Twitter as well as a backup, okay? So for those of you asking me where to buy the Vietnam Dong or the Iraqi Dinar or the Zim dollar or the Indonesia Rupiah, I was letting you guys know that the UK Dinar over here has been taking care of a lot of my subscribers. The link is in the description. If you guys make purchases over there, they will offer you an opportunity to enter a discount code. Use Pimpy, Pimpy, and they will take some money off your order. And saving money is always a good thing. Okay, so the only thing that's going on in the news, nothing big, but we will discuss it. And that is, of course, they're talking about the money that needs to be paid to the employees. So, and then some other things. So, here's a big thing that needs to be addressed. A member of the Parliament Finance Committee representative confirmed on Saturday that the government did not spend the amount of the borrowing voted by the House of Representatives on employees as it was supposed to, calling on the Minister of Finance to reveal the truth about the issue. So they had brought this up before. They're saying, look, you had enough money to pay for like 5 months and you've only paid 3. Where the hell's the rest of the money? The House of Representatives, when it approved the borrowing months ago, was in order to secure the salaries of the employees. But it appears, though, the Finance Ministry recent statement that the amount of the borrowing was spent in other sections, calling for a real disclosure with the Ministry of Finance about the current situation in the country. So it goes on to say right here that the government sent a budget for remainder of 2020. It stayed 1 day with the Speaker of Parliament, then it was withdrawn. There are 2 paths to government to secure the salaries of the employees, which is the draft budget or submit a request for borrowing. The issue of borrowing is difficult to pass because the government has not confirmed or committed itself to presenting the reform paper and has not provided any measures in order to modify the country's situation financially. So I know we've spoken about these reform papers. Don't forget the central bank has their own reform papers. And then also the government is reviewing foreign papers. We know for a fact that the talk, at least, of the exchange rate is in the reform papers. What that means, we don't know. There's a lot of assuming out there, and I don't want to do that. But hopefully it's good news. So they're saying anyways the salaries for the month of September are getting ready to be dispersed without any taxes taken out of it. When they say deductions, that's what they're talking about. Without deductions, the next 2 days will witness the disbursement of the employees' salaries. So deductions means taxes, which is good. It means they get them all their money. They deserve it. And this goes on again about the salaries. Right here, I like it as well. Al Qademi issues a new directive aimed at speeding up the elections in Iraq. Again, man of his word, there for the Iraqi people. But this is what I like about it. The first two paragraphs will talk about some steps he's taken that I think are big. Prime Minister Al Qademi directed the Election Commission to redouble its efforts to accelerate the completion of the biometric registration of Iraq voters as soon as possible in preparation for the early election that's going to be held in June, calling Iraqis eligible to vote to speed up updating their electoral data to obtain the card electoral biometric for them. That's what we need here. So they can't rig the elections anymore, well, as far as we think. I'm not a big fan of this biometric thing and all the other stuff, but I do believe we need voter ID. In a statement published by his media office, Al Qademi stressed the importance of enabling all voters to vote in the early parliament elections scheduled to take place on the 6th of next June. The reason why he wants to make sure everybody's eligible and he's pushing for this is they're going to make a push to get rid of those politicians who are backed by Iran out of government so that you have a government for the people that's put there by the people. Where before the elections were rigged, this one's going to be very scrutinized. I think it just depends on what's going on here in this election. We know that there are political factions here in our own country that love, strive, and feed off the chaos over there in the Middle East and are how pushing a different agenda altogether. The Iraq foreign minister informed Pompeo on concern about the decision to close the embassy. We know what the decisions are. We know what the issues are. This would be a huge blow to Iraq and their progress. If they can't get outside investors in there to invest in Iraq and start opening business, this would not be a good thing for Iraq. Outside businesses are going to be most likely reluctant if the embassies can't stay safe. How could they trust their investments to stay safe is what it comes down to. All right, so that's going on in that part. Now let's get into the Iraqi Dinar talk. There's a little bit more of it. All right, so like I said, whether it's good news or bad news, you shouldn't be overly emotional one way or another. We don't care about what they say. We just care about what they do. That doesn't mean the media is lying to you. Most of the time, what you guys have are people's opinions. Experts to provide explanation for the sudden rise of the dollar in Iraq. Again, if people don't have any faith in their own currency at all, they'll turn to the other currency, which is the US dollar. They've done it many a times. A number of specialists have provided explanations regarding the rise in the price of the dollar during the past days and the return to its recent decline. Financial experts said in their press statement the price of the dollar is very sensitive and affected by several matters, including political, social, financial, and security, indicating that the decline in oil prices, the presence of the Rona, and the existence of financial crisis of the Iraq government are certainly being exploited by speculators in order to raise prices. What is being raised about the closure of the U.S. Embassy, which has not been implemented, has also been exploited to raise the price of the dollar, noting that the central bank has its tools and procedures to ensure that the dollar has not risen significantly. So when they say dollar, they're talking about the U.S. dollar. When they talk about the dinar, they say the dinar. People always say the Iraqi dinar dollar or the Iraqi dollar. No, it's the dinar. He pointed out that the rise that occurred recently will not be great and did not exceed 3%, and therefore it remains within the internationally permitted limits. A specialist in economic affairs concerned that the banking alliance would lead to the rise in the exchange rate of the dollar by creating a black market for it, despite selling it at a fixed price by central bank. If we had a banking system that works with the true ethics, there would be no black market for the dollars. And it would have been sold at a price close to the central bank rate in public. The number of private banks which exceeds 80 without an economic or credit impact indicates that they live on a difference in the auction price of the central bank. He pointed out an increase in the exchange rate in light of the stability of the central bank rate reflects two cases. The first is the increase in demand locally for the dollar, and the second is the increase in the profitability of the private banks by raising the exchange rate between the official and the market, which is caused by the coalition of corruption in the banks that are responsible for pumping the currency, the foreign market, after receiving it from the bank. Okay, so there's a black market for the US dollar. What happens is usually these guys will get dinars really cheap. They'll go out there, and because they want the US dollar, because it has more purchasing power, it's more stable, they will offer way more dinars than what the bank does. That affects the rate in the market. Less people would have faith in the dinar and want the demand for the US dollar would increase, which would strengthen the dollar. That's not good. That's not what we want. They need to do something about it. But you heard what it said. People got to feel like they're confident in what's going on with the central banks. So that's what's going on there. There's still more talk about the rate. We just got to make sure that, hey, get a crackdown. Al-Qademi is doing all he can, and in my opinion, has done a great job of removing a lot of corruption and charging a lot of these people is good. So I would imagine, or you would hope, that they would have a lot more faith in the current government as well as the banking system that they have now to prove that indeed they are doing something about the corruption. All right, this has taken 10 years. So anyways, over here's another article talking about the rate once again. Okay, so again, we don't want to get too caught up in whether it's good news or bad news, it doesn't make a difference. So basically, I could just tell you what the article said because it seems to be moving at the pace of snail. That's been happening a whole lot lately, and I have no idea why that is on my computer. Are you guys, because other people told me they've been having problems too with their internet? I know when we're on YouTube, it has, on YouTube, downloading is really ridiculous. It takes a long time to download. So here we go. Let me translate to English so you guys can see this. So what is it saying? It says the Financial Committee talks about losing the Iraqi dinar 10% of its value. Well, we don't want that to happen. That's bad. Okay? If the dinar loses its value, that's not good for us. We want its value to increase. We want the exchange rate to decrease. You know what I mean? The Parliament Financial Committee warned on Saturday that the value of the Iraqi dinar had decreased by 10% during the past days, indicating that the central bank sales reached $225 million. The head of the committee said that the central bank is partially concerned with the issue of exchanging the dinar for the dollar through government and private banks, adding that entering materials and ensuring the validity of invoices through border crossings is the jurisdiction of taxes and customs. Okay, so again, this is kind of like what they're talking about over here on the black market. There's a problem with, the central banks controlling the auctions, and auctions interfere with the rate of the dollar as well. The central bank sometimes exceeds the obstacles and instructions in order to provide the Iraqi dinar, which is supposed to be a maximum non-oil revenue, stressing the top of the Iraq currency, or the drop of the Iraq currency to 10% of the expected total value. All salaries were paid in Iraqi dinar, noting that the rate of the sale of the currency through the central bank reached $225 million during the past days to secure Iraq currency. All right, so again, we don't want the currency to be devalued, the Iraqi dinar. We want the exchange rate to be lowered. We want the currency to be increase in value. All right, so I'm just bringing you the news. That's what's going on. That's the talks for now. All right, you guys, like I said, don't be emotional either way. Okay, so that I just want to bring you the news, good, bad, and ugly, but we'll keep an eye on it. I'll continue to watch it and bring you the news as it comes along. All right, so that's it for now, you guys. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it, and I'll catch you later.